morning, everybody, and welcome back to another live stream. And today, as we do every Saturday, we are going to be building my portfolio. Kind of our project right now, what we've been focusing on for the last several weeks. And so over that time, let's kind of just do a little recap, I think, of everything we've been doing. I've got a Trello board somewhere that's got probably better. Let me try and find that real fast. Make sure I'm logged into the right accounts. I'll log in my email here. Oops, wrong one. Alrighty. Let me get this Trello board up here. Where'd it go? There it is. Alrighty. We actually haven't looked at the Trello board in a while. So we can actually move these wireframes over, and we were doing high fidelity. So we at the beginning of the process here, this is kind of all reverse order. We focused on who the audience is. We reviewed my existing website, brainstormed the personal labels that I want to be communicating. We did some competitive analysis. And just really kind of focused in on like what I want this website to be saying about me, which is super important when you're designing your portfolio. That's kind of what the point is. And we did some wireframing, and we started getting to sort of the higher fidelity, and that's what we were working on mostly last week, kind of stepping everything up to this high fidelity level. And this week, I think we're going to kind of wrap this up, hopefully, take one more good look at everything, and then consider moving into, I might actually have to do one or two more screens that I just thought about, but we're going to move into some development. So start working more with technologies like Laravel, HTML, CSS, Tailwind CSS. They're in their beta now, so I feel pretty good about, or their 1.0 is in their beta, so we can go ahead and start using that, which is pretty fun. Not a lot of functionality in here, so maybe that contact form, though, we might use some Vue.js or something like that. Yeah, so let's kind of take a quick look at what's going on here on the landing page and kind of review the work we did last time, which I know we had a little bit of a break, so thank you all for bearing with me. So we've got our landing page, we've got our hero section, got this nice sort of explanation of who I am. I've been thinking a lot about the illustrations that we're going for. I'm going to show you guys some of the scratch work I'm doing. But I want to, I think, go for sort of this like unicorn aesthetic, something like that. I don't know. It's a subtle way, I think, to kind of. I don't like calling myself a unicorn. I think it's kind of a, I don't know, not the best terminology, but it's kind of accurate. And so I just thought instead of calling myself a unicorn, I would subtly reinforce it in the imagery. And it's kind of a cool image, and it's something I want to practice. I haven't done illustration work in a long time, so it's going to be kind of fun. So these big blue sections, that's going to be what's going on in there. So that's going to be, I might not stream that. I might just go ahead and create those because it'll take a lot of time. But if you guys want to see it, let me know. I'll definitely consider streaming it, maybe in a separate stream outside of this. Alrighty, we've got our project section, which I've got to, I think one of the projects is going to be actually this portfolio stream. I just think it's kind of a cool one to highlight because it's got this interactive live stream component, which I'm very happy y'all are here to see today. So I might make that one of my projects. I've got two other ones that I'm considering. So one that I did for Gen 1 research, and then another one maybe for Metric Loop or something like that. So some consulting work and then some work I did for a company. Again, we've got another chance to explain my unique value proposition and who I am as a person. We've got some job experience down here, chance for them to view my resume. We've got writing experience, so I do a bit of writing. So I'm debating on making this my a curated section versus like the whole blog. I might make this curated though, kind of thinking about going that route as well. And then we've got this sort of media section down here, and this might just be the latest videos as well, and this is kind of what we spent a lot of time figuring out. Another call to action. So these blue sections here, I think I'm going to make related to like this sort of unicorn fantasy theme. That's kind of fits my personality. I'm into that. So this writing section, I don't know, maybe we'll do like a wizard writing or something like that. That'd be kind of fun. And then down here, maybe, I don't know. So I kind of want to make this section more related to Twitch because we have this call to action on other parts of the page. So maybe it'll be a little different, but we'll kind of consider that as needed. And then we got sort of this about me section down here, and then finally the footer, which I think is nice. Alrighty. What other pages do we have? We've got this about section, which again, we need a little bit of content in here. That's kind of, I think, where we're at now. We've got a good sense of the visual design, but content needs a little bit of work, I think, across the board. Projects, again, another chance for me to highlight that work, maybe include a few more if I want to. And we got the blog in here. Pretty straightforward. We've got the tags page, pretty important stuff. And let's see, kind of going to be tricky to figure out what to put there, but we'll figure that out. And then maybe we can do something as CMS for that. We've got our blog posts over here. And then we've got a project, which we haven't, I mean, the header will be whatever the header is. So kind of similar style as that. And then we've got some different, we'll have some sort of content in here. And then the footer. And then, oh yeah, with the blog post, we're going to have this section down here. That's more or less what we're looking for. And so what I was realizing is that I think, want to build a little admin section for this. A, because it's fun. It's good practice. And when I've gotten into job interviews and kind of shown off my portfolio, I've been able to show off that admin section as well. And so that's always like a really good, I think, tool within my interview process to kind of be like, hey, not only can I design this front end, I can build the back end for this. And so it's a really good example of a full stack site. I was thinking about making this like a static site and just kind of using like Jigsaw by Titan or ViewPress or something like that. But I think I'm going to make it a full Laravel build and just have a real back end. And it'll make some of the stuff like this contact section a little bit easier as well. So that's kind of where my head's at. So I just kind of wanted to probably loosely wireframe what that's going to look like. Maybe not a mock-up per se. Maybe we'll do this on a separate page. We'll kind of call this the back end. And before we really dive into it, I just realized I don't have any tissues around me, and it's allergy season here in Austin. So let me go grab some tissues real fast. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, and we're back. Sorry, I didn't want to be sniffling in front of everybody for the whole stream, because that would be pretty annoying. Alrighty, so where were we? We're talking about doing our sort of back-end architecture here. So what I want this back-end to do, I guess, we could take a look at my current back-end, but what we need to do is kind of have a section for our blogs. I don't know why that's laid out. Maybe we're using quicksand for our typography. I guess I should go to the style guide, that would tell me. Yeah. So let's change that to quicksand, just so it's staying the same. There we go. Alrighty. So I need something to manage my blog posts. Let's see, posts. I need something to manage the like blog tags. I think I'm actually going to hard code the project pages. I don't think I want to make those dynamic just because I want them to load a lot faster. I don't know if that's going to be a real issue or not, but I also only have 3 of them. I don't really believe in adding all of your work to a portfolio site, so I think just kind of having 3 of them and hard coding them is just going to be the better approach. what else was I going to say? So we've got that. We also kind of have these contacts that are going to come in. So maybe some sort of contact management system or something like that. I think it would be kind of fun. So kind of managing contacts. And then one other thing I was kind of thinking about was maybe like doing like some sort of like activity feed for like my personal, I don't know, life stuff. So like life activity feed where I'm kind of gonna have the site set up for like Twitch and stuff like that. So in order to kind of see how my Twitch account is going, maybe do some sort of API integration. Twitch has analytics, so that might just be overkill, but that's just kind of a nice to have feature. So let's kind of go ahead. Let's see, contact submissions. All right, that could be a nice to have kind of thing. But more or less that informs. Oh, and the other thing is images. We're gonna have to use some sort of image handling. I've never figured out a really good system for that, but I'm going to build it myself just for practice. Alrighty here. So I normally, when I'm kind of building admin sections, kind of like the left-hand nav aesthetic. I think it's kind of fun. That's a very large one. How big is it? So 10, 24, we'll divide that by 5. Something like that. So 205. Something around there. And then maybe we'll make this background like our lightest blue, or lightest gray. And this section over here, this rectangle, get rid of that border. Could make this pure white. Really stands out. Could also make this like a little bit more of a blue color. I think we'll make this like a pure white. And we can make that have all of our information here. And so another thing that I've kind of thought about in the past is doing guest posts on on my blog. I haven't done it yet, and honestly it might be like a premature optimization, but I thought it would be kind of nice maybe if we set it up that way. So these are kind of things that, again, I'm thinking about, but probably not necessarily necessary. So let's kind of maybe add a profile picture. So unlike a traditional product, this doesn't necessarily need a lot of like product description because it's my blog CMS. I don't need to be like Nick's blog everywhere. I can kind of just focus on other details. So this can kind of be like a user. I don't know. Do something like this over here on the side. Where's my style guide at? 25. Okay, let's try that. That's looking pretty good. So that could just kind of be like the user section. If you click on this, maybe you manage your profile. Something like that. A couple different ways to do it. That's kind of the way I'm leaning towards right now. And then down below here, maybe we'll make this lighter. What if we went kind of light with it? I actually made this more like 18. And then that way, I can make our navigation links a lot larger. So this could be like 21. And we'll make this bold here. Alrighty. Yeah, we'll say maybe make it regular for now. So we'll have some sort of dashboard page. That left line. And that'll just kind of display some meta statistics. Now I could use something like Laravel Nova for this, probably pretty well as well. But there is something to be said for building it yourself and practicing that. And I think because I'm kind of doing this as an educational learning opportunity for a lot of folks, we might just go ahead and code it ourselves, just because it's a little bit more fun that way. We'll have the blog. I think within the blog we'll have tags and images, so that'll be something to consider. We can make that different, but that's too far away from that. And then we might have contacts. I don't know. Maybe that'll be part of the dashboard. Maybe it doesn't need much more of an information architecture than that. And then up here, maybe we'll do like another piece of navigation. Like 60 pixels. Go ahead and make that white. Kind of blend it in here a little bit more. What do we want up here? So I think like the logout button is going to be pretty important. Always need to think about that. How are people getting into and out of your product? Make this a little smaller up here. Like that. I don't know. There's an argument to be made that that should. So if this is like our high level navigation, this should be contextual navigation. That's kind of the general approach that I've seen. So we might not even need a section up here. It's kind of redundant. So for instance, we could kind of bring this down. And what I'm realizing is we probably should have a link for profile here in case they don't see that up there. In case I'm designing for myself right now, so it's kind of fun. We'll kind of put the logout there. And this could be an approach. We could also go with just a top nav. This is a pretty simple admin section, so do we need a left nav? It's not a lot harder, but it is harder to do. So that's something conceptually we might be considering here. But it looks more of an admin section, and that's kind of what I'm as like a selling point, kind of something I want to highlight to. If I'm going to use this as like in an interview or something like that, I want to be able to be like, hey, I kind of designed it like a true admin section. So keep that in mind. Alrighty, kind of got that grouped up. And we'll be on the dashboard page for now, so. And we'll go ahead and roll that. That can be our approach. I've seen some cool things where like people are starting to do like these cool cutouts. So let me kind of show what I'm talking about. Just conceptually real fast. Oh, that's not gonna work. So if we grab this color of here. So it's kind of this like almost, you basically make the cutout the same as the background of whatever this section is, and then you kind of open that up to like 100 or something. And that's just kind of a dribble trend that I've seen lately. I've seen a few interfaces go for that approach. That's a little too subtle, I think, for me, but it's an interesting approach. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's going to work fine for us. For now, in this dashboard section, this is probably where I'll have those contact submissions. So maybe we can do more of a feed here. Maybe like latest blog posts. That's kind of what I have going on my current site. It's not super. Oh, what's going on here? Sorry, I'm just totally oblivious to the chat right now. Why does the mic sound weird? Oh, I don't know. Sometimes we have mic issues, and I just have not, for the life of me, been able to debug it. I did everything like 10 times in terms of setup here. Sometimes I get an issue with my AirPods, so let me try switching off of those. Because it doesn't even seem like they're working, because I couldn't even hear the chats coming in. So maybe this will help. And yes, the heater fan situation, not much I can do about that, because we're running open broadcast software, we're running Twitch, we're running Sketch. I just need a bigger computer. But it's using the webcam mic. I've looked at this. I just looked at the settings again, and everything shouldn't be doing that. I mean, we can look at my actual system settings again, but let me open this up. Grab this guy. Sound. No, it's all coming in through my Yeti here. So I mean, it's telling me everything should be the way it is. Just for some reason it doesn't like to cooperate all the time. OBS is saying it's using the Yeti too, so Not a ton I can figure out here, but turn down the gain. Let's see. Did that make it a little better for everybody? Maybe. happy to try things, try and make it better for folks, because I know that can be super annoying. And I can't tell. Everything seems like it's coming down. Move it closer. Okay, move it. That's pretty close. Try to keep it out of the shot. As much as possible. Something like that. Should sound better. Oh, cool. So hopefully that makes it a little better for everybody. Oh, thanks. Definitely take a look at that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm also not a pro at the AV stuff. I'm just a developer and designer, so not my wheelhouse, sadly. But I will keep working on it. I think okay. Is there anything I can do to check the audio program within what system? Oh, it's not showing up here. I don't know why my chats aren't showing up. Let's see here. That might be the issue. Oh, we're gonna have to restart. I'd have to restart the whole thing to change that audio setting. But it was not. It was on the other one, which is 44. So the sample rate, is that kind of what's going on? Definitely try that out next time. Soundflower. I'm not using Soundflower. I can look at Mac OS, that's no problem. Let's see what's going on here. Not really getting any. Nothing's really saying. Oh, what happened there? Did we lose that? Yeah, there's nothing about all of that information. Oh, is that all moved over? I'm not seeing anything coming in about that, which is kind of frustrating. Oh, why does this always change? All these little issues here. Thanks for the sub, though. Appreciate it. Got a whole. Oh, looks like everybody's joining us now. That's what was going on. It's decided to change on me. And then the alerts also got changed a little bit for some reason. All right. Well, we're gonna keep on rolling, but maybe I can figure that out another time. Sorry, it's not up to par for y'all. Just kind of not a whole lot I can do, especially on the fly here. Cool. So we were working on our sort of admin section, our dashboard for the site here for the portfolio site. And for everyone who just joined, this is the site. This is kind of the high fidelity design that we've worked on. So going to go ahead and keep on working on the back end here, and then see how we do. So let's see. So we have this dashboard section. Like I was saying, probably going to include maybe like a card or two, and try and figure it out like this. So let's see here. Let's see. Oop. See the audio format. Huh. Audio devices. All right. I'll run through that support guide and see if I can check it out and see if we can set it up here. Your iMac. And utilities. Oh, that's what's going on. I'm just looking at the generic support issues here. All right, so let's see here. This touch bar drives me crazy sometimes. What am I looking for? Utilities. Looking for voiceover audio MIDI. There we go. There we go. Alrighty here. And then we've got external. Yeah, here's our Yeti. Yeah, it's all in that 48,000. That's not. That's just saying 48 for everything. So I don't know if that's going to be our silver bullet there. Sad. I don't know. It's kind of something I've been playing around with and just haven't found a good solution for it yet. But appreciate you trying to help me troubleshoot it. That's awesome. Do we lose our? Yeah, super weird. But it kind of comes and goes. So hopefully, I don't know if it's better or not. Should be gain. Yeah. We could turn it down even more. Sure. Let's see there. That help a little bit more. I mean, I think the mic's as close as I'm gonna get it without having it be right kind of in front of my face in the shot the whole time. I don't know if is that helping or if that makes it any different or not, but about where it's gonna be. Change the type of audio, maybe. But kind of getting a little off topic here from what we're trying to accomplish today. So appreciate you helping me, but I'm gonna focus back in on what we're doing here with our dashboard. So kind of just going in, creating a nice kind of card here, and see if I can add some shadows to this section here. So we'll kind of grab our black color, bring that down to like 40, up the blur and the Y, something like that. And now we have this nice card. Yeah, audio is probably the most frustrating part of this whole stream. But, kind of something to deal with. All right, so we'll go ahead and make that like 35. That might be too big, but we'll roll with it for now. 34, 30. Let's see here. How are we looking? So the first I think the first most important thing might be latest posts. This feels really large. Maybe we'll make this 28. That feels a lot better. Kind of how am I going to present this to myself? So probably in a table kind of format. Oh, nice. Sounds like a good microphone. Let's see here. Make that like 21. Make it regular. Change the color to maybe like a lighter gray. I like to really de-emphasize my headers relative to my content in my tables. That might be more of a personal thing, but I found it to work pretty nicely. So we're going to have something like title. And maybe published on. And trying to think what else is going to be relevant here. Like in a normal blog, CMS author is generally super important. Because it's my blog, it's probably not going to matter that much. But it's just a little thing to consider, especially if you want to have multiple users, that kind of thing. So we'll just do published on, and then we'll have actions over here, but those will be kind of meta. So let's kind of go ahead and run with this. And we've got a few blog. Oh, that's not what we wanted. Blog posts kind of in here, so I was gonna grab this just for consistency. Alrighty. That was too far away now. Something like that. Nice. Alrighty. And we'll go ahead and make that nice and a little bit darker. Maybe we'll go ahead and make this like, title. I've seen approaches like this as well, but then you make it like a lot smaller. And then the text kind of stands on its own. I think I like what that's doing there. So we'll go ahead and run with that for now. The nice thing about doing your own site is what you want. So nobody can tell you what to do. Laravel, Nova CRM. And when was this published? That actually might be data we want to show here. Definitely going to try and show it. I think we do show it on our, on the actual article itself. Super important when you're publishing technical work because things get out of date very quickly, and so it's nice for people to be able to be like, oh, this is useful, but it was out of date 6 months ago kind of thing, so kind of a nice thing to consider for folks. We'll go ahead and make this, I don't know, something like. And then a little trick, when you're working with like text in tables or something like that, you want to left align things because that's how we read text, at least in Western cultures. Numbers and dates, you generally want to right align them so everything lines up a little bit better. So that's just a little tip if you're kind of struggling with like this. How do I improve my form? That's just a way to go about doing it. And then let's go ahead and just make this a full section here. Let's call it like I'm just going to use the font awesome. That could be like to see the post. We could also do this with text. Kind of depends on your preference. I don't know. Maybe we could do it like that. Or we could do something more like this. View. Edit. I don't know. We might go back to the icons. I think that's nice. Sometimes people like to put destructive actions up here, like delete and stuff like that. Up to you. Really depends on your context and what things are, what you're trying to do and how frequently you delete items. I don't really delete my blog posts ever, so I don't think it's going to really, I don't really need it here. I actually don't even know if my previous blog has like delete functionality in it or not, but that's just kind of something that you can consider on your own. And then we'll probably make these blue. Oop, not like that. But just to, what happened? We lost our color picker. Maybe this nice dark blue to make it look a little bit more actionable. And that's more or less what we're going to do for each of these rows here. A little more white space, but it's not cooperating. Alrighty, there we go. What's another one? Deep diving Laravel Nova. I just want to put a bunch of different titles in here just to see how it's working. And then getting started with Laravel Nova, which is another one. I'm sure I have longer blog titles, but that's something we can kind of consider later. In the code, it's a lot easier to deal with those edge cases. But good to be thinking about them in our design portion. And then I'm going to add a little button up here. So let me go ahead and grab our buttons. Where did they go? Where's a good button? There's one. Nice. We'll go ahead and maybe somewhere up there. See all, something like that. So you can put it here, you can put it down here, up to you. And we'll go ahead and maybe duplicate all of these, or just do like our 5 most recent. And like if you had analytics or data, this would be a great place to show that as well. Kind of nice. And just for my sanity, I'm going to go ahead and update these, make it look a little bit more realistic. Also important, so like I'm going into probably more detail than I have to go into, but I kind of want to use this for my portfolio in some way or another. And so kind of focusing in a little bit more on some of these details that might not be necessary. And see, this is why you want to right align text here. So we're going to tweak this a little bit more, make sure that's all right aligned. Great. This makes it a little bit easier to parse. And so And this is another frustrating thing because we've got sort of different numbers like that. You can kind of go in here and tweak that as needed, though. I don't know if we'll do it this way or not, but helps things line up a little bit easier. That's a way you could go about doing that. Just make it a little bit easier to read them. Cool. Okay, so see all, I'm kind of working on this button up here. Oop. And we'll go ahead. What was that? 937. A lot of mental math, design, that nobody tells you about. That's good. Easier for me to get that done. And so right now these are not really aligned at all. Let's try baseline, kind of where I like to start. And then I'll see what center aligning looks like. Alrighty, that's okay. Nice. Go ahead and group that up. Group these together. So group these together while we're at it. Groups of your friends. Definitely want to use those as much as possible. Yeah, something like that. And then we'll subtract 25 there. Nice. That's kind of our latest posts coming in. And just kind of a nice, simple little card for our dashboard. And we'll really copy this design for our blog posts as well. And so we've got this card here. Again, keep using those groups. Might have another card below that I lost. See all here. Huh, that's really weird. Oh, that button didn't make it? That's kind of... What's going on? Oh, I think I know what's going on here. Did a little mix up with the groupings. There we go. Something like that. And then this will be where we do our contact forms. And so with contact forms, maybe this would make more sense as sort of that activity feed. Maybe we can get away from this card approach here. So sometimes you design something and you're like, oh, maybe there's a better way to do it, and you just do it that way. So let's think here. So if I was going to get rid of these, let's see here. What are we working with? That's 205. So 1024 minus 205. That's 819. Oop, that's not what I wanted. So 819 divided by 3. 273. So 205 plus 273, 478. So you construct your grids on the fly here. And we'll do that one more time. 273 plus 478, 751. Something like that. So folks love grids, and for good reason. Excuse me. I like grids a lot too, but I'm not like the mathematical, like they gotta be this way or the highway kind of thing. I kind of just want them on the fly a little bit more, just so I kind of have a little bit of symmetry within my designs here. Okay, so let's tweak these a little bit more. I know we just did a whole bunch of work and then we're getting rid of it, but that's okay. Very Bob Ross of us. We're just gonna do something and then we're gonna draw a big tree on top and it's gonna be done. So we're gonna, oh, that's not what I wanted. The background. So this is about 30 pixels, so I didn't do this math right. So it's really 124 minus 235, 790, 263, 205 plus 263, 468. I'm just kind of shifting this over by 10, it seems. And then 68 plus 263, that's 371. Cool. We're gonna keep trying to do our little grid system, which we might not. We might do it a little bit more optically. It kind of depends how we want to do it. What do we make this like 300? It's not really going to fit all this content in it. Do we even need latest posts? What if we did it more like the whole thing more like an activity feed? This could be interesting. So let's kind of play with it. And I guess so that's 205. So we really want to make this 235. So that way we have the same amount of, right? Yeah, 30. I think what's 984? 994. Alrighty. So now we're cooking with gas here. We just did a lot of work and then we had a better idea. Or I think a better idea. Let's play with it now. Because why not? It's okay to experiment with your designs until you get away from local maximums towards something better. And so we could say something like this, nice activity, and then maybe we'll do like a card, kind of like a card-esque thing for all of this. Make it white like that. We'll round that border here just a little bit. Start with this and then see if we need to add a shadow or not. What do I want? Circle here. And this is maybe overkill for a personal CMS system, but this is also practice and learning. And I haven't coded in a while, and I kind of want to have fun coding. So I'm gonna make more work for myself than I necessarily need to be working with here. Alrighty, but we've got our nice circle here. And so what if we say what types of activity we're going to have? New contact. Yeah, something like that. New contact. And maybe we'll make this 18. And I can still stay bold. Maybe make it a little bit grayer. Something like that. And then try to think here. What's important information? Time is important, so some sort of date timestamp. Details might be important as well. It's actually interesting. We're going to have to add a section to our navigation, which is totally fine. I don't know. Sometimes there's a lot of value in thinking about things prior to designing, and you get a lot of value also going through the design process as well and kind of saying like, oh, I hadn't thought about that, so let me tweak my understanding here to match this new knowledge. So that's also something worthwhile. So we got new contact here. What other new contact? We're gonna have post published. Might add like a post publishing functionality into this because I find myself doing that sometimes. Those would be kind of the two big ones. And maybe if I do like some sort of Twitch integration, that would be nice here. I don't know. That's sort of above and beyond what we need for this MVP. Yeah, something like this. And this meta information, this could be like 12 to 18, 530, yeah, something like that. Let's make this smaller. The logo is smaller than 14. Make that larger. more. Okay. And then here in the circle, definitely want to add some sort of icon. File Awesome Pro. There's a bullhorn. Nice. And we'll probably make that the solid version. Just to help it stand out on that background a little bit more. Go ahead and make it white. Nice color contrast. Something like that. Don't know why I'm trying to align it. Just let the icon do the work. Sometimes when you're working with icons, it's nice to put them in a circle. It helps them, I know, feel a little bit more like equally sized, especially if you have a lot of them. So that's something, kind of a tip that I like to consider. And it feels really heavy, especially relative to a lot of the other design here. So let's play with this. Maybe make that 2. And then here we can kind of keep our, something like that. Nice. So new contact. We have this meta information, and then probably we'll do like a button over here. And I deleted our button from here, so I'll just grab it again. This is too big. So we'll tweak it. Maybe instead of a, yeah, we'll keep it a button. Make it a little smaller. Something like this. This is gonna be fun to code, so why not? Go for it. Yeah, I'd say 15 and 10, something like that. I think sometimes in our we like feel like we have to code something that has value, or we can't add anything extra to a project sometimes. But when you're working on your own projects, like this is that chance to really work on what you want to work on. So if you're kind of like, man, I really want to practice this, or I haven't done this in a while, this is your chance to do that. I thought we had to go over a little bit more, so that's what I'm gonna do. Have fun that way. Cool. So more, that's kind of the same size. Maybe we'll make this more like 24. Or maybe even make this, yeah, I want to make it even smaller than that. Cool. So we kind of have this little activity feed coming together now. Maybe this would be 35. Yeah, maybe we'll add a shadow. Especially if that's where we're kind of heading for a lot of our other components. I'll grab this black. Maybe make this more like 30? Yeah, that's maybe 20. It's a nice little subtle. I'm wondering if we even need the icon at this point. It might just be overkill for what we're trying to do. Sometimes less is more, so it's something my first design teacher ever taught me. So let's go ahead and roll with that. Okay, I think this is looking better already. In terms of spacing, what's this? How wide is this? 301. Something like this I think works. Again, maybe we make it a little shorter. That's not what I wanted. Try to make it 400, see how that looks. Cool. So we kind of got this latest activity section coming together nicely. Alrighty. And we also said there'd be a post published. And let's just make this something else chronologically. 28. Alrighty. And what was that? 15 before? Get that off the. So what's that? 42. Let's say minus 25. Yeah, and then 2 more. Cool. Something like that. Yeah. Feeling very indecisive today. I think this was a good idea, but I'm not sure I love the visual balance that's going on here. So I'm going to swap these into links as opposed to buttons. Oop. Just too heavy relative to the rest of the information here, which is fine. That's why we try this out. We experiment a little bit. Make it regular. Maybe underline it. Just to really emphasize that affordance. There it is. Nice. Let me make this the darker blue. What we've been doing. Nice. Maybe we can get away with changing this positioning a little bit now. So we can put those on the baseline together. And see, this is the nice thing that comes from like just experimenting and playing it out. Maybe like, okay, that kind of is working, and maybe this would be a better approach. So these are the little things that you can look at. Okay, I like this. I like where this is heading a little bit better. Because you're kind of scanning this, you hit the button, and then you're good to go. You've got the meta information. Something like this. That's already pretty small. Wonder if we add some more meta information over here. And then we put this view contact button over there. Let's change this. Something like that. Get rid of that underline. Because I think the first thing I would want to know is who it's from. So maybe like just putting our email here, because we'll get that in the contact form. Because a lot of times you can look at, I have another contact form on a different site and it gets a lot of spam. And so sometimes you can just look at it and be like, oh, this is not something I really have to worry about, versus something that you're like, oh, this is something I should pay attention to. So these are the little things that you might want to consider. So now we just kind of have 4 pieces of information. I'm not sure if this is better the way I wanted it to be better. Let's look at Twitter. Twitter is a feed. Sometimes you just need to look for some design inspiration. So I kind of got this setup going here. Their actions. Let's look at Dribble. Sometimes looking at a little inspiration kind of gets the gears turning a little bit more. Let's see here. This is kind of what we're looking for. Yeah, I've seen that pattern before. That's pretty nice. Oh, they've got light mode. A little bit different than what we're trying to accomplish here. Let's see. Oh, I liked what they were doing up here, though, with that little meta menu. That's kind of nice. I was kind of wondering if we could put some content over here on the side, but it'd be beyond the scope of what we're doing today. That's kind of nice too. Yeah, so they've got this meta information. This is kind of, so communication is what we're looking for. Let's kind of roll with this. I think this is, I like their date style too. All right. Let's see here. Oh, where we gotta get back to sketch. So new contact. Oh, where'd that just go? I'll kind of get rid of that button. Bring this down here, so these are both aligned. Make it the same color. And what is this, December? They have a dash. They just have the number that happened that day. Yeah. Oh, they do this way. Interesting date format, but I like it. I don't know why I picked December. That was just the first month that came into my head. So I like where this is heading. And maybe we show just a little bit more information about it. Maybe a preview of what was being said. And for this, let's use a little bit of lorem ipsum. Oh, forgot to adjust that. And make this a little larger. Something like this. I said lorem ipsum and then I started typing, which, you know, pros and cons. I like working with real text because it just makes more sense. Cool. And maybe we just do a 2-line preview. Just so we can kind of come in here and see like what's going on. And already I think this card's looking better. And then maybe if they click the card, if I click the card, we just make the whole thing clickable as opposed to having a specific button. Nice. I like what that is. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Nice. Alrighty. We can tighten it up a little bit more. Alrighty here. So this is looking much better already. And so now we have this new, oh, got to add that in there. Something like that. Oop, yeah. And then post published. This is why they have the icon in there, because it helps you visually distinguish those much faster. But I think for right now we're doing okay. This might just be the title. Let's just say like deep. And I don't think that needs a little meta. And we'll subtract 5. Actually, 55. Oop. Nice. Alrighty. Maybe something like that for our contact form. Kind of have a nice little activity feed here. And then we've got all this section over here that we need to kind of think about. Let's see here. What can we add? You know, let's go and deal with everything else and then come back and think about maybe what we can add here. One thing would be like a profile card. That's pretty easy to do. and maybe take it out of the navigation. But I digress. Alrighty, so we can get rid of these for the moment. Maybe not. We're going to do some work with the blog posts. Alright, the next thing we're going to work on is the blog. So swap our navigation around. Cool. I had to get rid of that. So now we've kind of established this pattern of cards for content as opposed to cards for like the table like we were doing before. Kind of pros and cons to that approach. But I think we might just switch back to what we were doing before. How far away is that? Okay. A lot going on here. Let's get rid of some of these. Where the heck are these activities? What was that? 35 in bold. And pretty dark. Alrighty. Get into our cool. Maybe about that size. 2020. Good enough for now. And so this can be our blog posts. And we kind of, I should have saved that component from earlier. We kind of did a lot of this, but at least we know the direction we want to head. So we're going to go that way, bold. We'll make it pretty gray, not super gray. So the title. The publish on was important as well, which I think makes sense. What else are we going to need for this? I think I'm debating if I want to show the tags here as well. It's kind of something that we might want to consider. And then we'll just kind of have our actions, which I think will work nicely for us. Alrighty. So let's maybe make this at 15. Make it regular. 21. I always like my headers to be smaller than my content. I don't know if that's just me, but I don't know, I think it helps de-emphasize them, but they're still there if you need them. That could just be me. So what is steep? Oop. I'm going to change this publish on format from the date one that we had to match what we're using on the other page, just because I think that was a nice format. So again, whether you make this is more text kind of oriented, so I'm going to keep it left aligned like that. And obviously this will change based on the content. Oop. I was thinking about, why is this? It's not aligned? No, they are. Didn't look aligned for a second there. I was thinking of doing like little actual tags in here, but I think for now we'll just kind of say something like this. And my posts tend to have 3 tags. And this is why we play with content, because it's going to fit. Does it make sense? Maybe not. That's okay. So let's see here. I'm going to bring that over, something like that. View. I'm going to go ahead and go back for more, instead of icons, go for more of a text-based approach. Oh, this is way too close to the edge. I'm aligning to the wrong line there. And you know what? I think this is kind of close to the edge generally. Make everything a little bit more padding all around. Nice. Make these guys blue. I think for here we can kind of leave them as they are. And we'll maybe make that about 10 pixels apart. I don't know. It's going to be said for having some nice white spacing in your tables. I think a lot of tables don't do that, and so it just is super overwhelming to see them, and it gets very cluttered very fast. Cool. So I like where we're heading now. What was that? Minus 23? Cool. Get that grouped up. And then looking back over here, maybe we'll go ahead and add some more of that padding as well. To make everything a little bit more consistent. I think that's okay. We can deal with that if we need to. Design consistency is important, but the context is really different. The type of data we're showing is very different. This is more like text, and then this one is more tabular, so it's really up to you at that point. Great, and so that's kind of where we're at here. We kind of got our blog posts. I might consider, so we've got blog posts, we've got tags, and we've got images associated with these blog posts. So this might be a good chance to do sort of that meta nav that we saw earlier. And I might go ahead and go approach like this. So we'll go like posts. And I think this can be bold. Oh, I have it selected. And we'll do probably some sort of underline there. We'll come back for that. And then this guy can be tags. And then we'll do images under like that. Alrighty. Maybe it'll be a little bit more grayed out. Nice. Go ahead and add a line underneath this. Maybe make it a little wider than that. Make sure it's the right shade. Add that in there, perfect. That is our post. And there's something to be said for like making this a little farther down. Cool. Something like that. Now we've got our blog post. And there are a couple different ways. Like this could be top level navigation. We could just have cards, 3 cards on this page. I think that's how I'm doing it now. I don't know. I kind of think like this is all kind of blog related information. So the top level nav should be blog. Then we can have sort of minor navigation up here for this these sections. And maybe we make these a little smaller. Make them more like 21. Nice. There are no right or wrongs in information architecture, just what is best for your users and your research, what makes sense for your product. I mean, I guess there are right or wrongs, but you know, it's a good metaphor or way to think about it. The only other page that I think I really want to design is the images page, because I don't think we're going to, like, I think the tags page is pretty much just going to look like this. I think the only one would be different would be that images page, because it's going to be a little bit more of a card-based approach, because I want to be able to see the images. Alrighty. And that was an issue that I ran into in my last blog. I forgot to, or I didn't forget, I just didn't even consider making my images visible. And so it was just the name of the image, and it was like an auto-generated name. And it just became very hard for me to manage my images, and I never refactored it just because I didn't want to. So here I am, rebuilding my blog, and now I've got this opportunity. So let's see here. What was that? Before I get rid of that, 40 pixels? Okay. And maybe we'll make this like 200 and 200. Kind of see how that looks to start. And yeah, I can math this out, but what fun would that be? I didn't realize it was doing that. Mathing it out would have been better. Let's try that. Yeah, try 230. Cool. 35, 34, that's fine. Let's go ahead and make this like our other cards. Support a radius there, 3. And I'm actually going to make this a part of our color palette because we keep using it. Cool. And so up top, we're going to kind of have the image itself, I think. Let me just duplicate this. Something like that. And we'll just round the top ones. Alright, so now I can do masking, which is nice. For this, we'll just kind of say that's where the image will go. Make it a little taller. Some nice card-based design here. And this guy will just be the name. Whatever the name is. I think what I'd like to add is a little copy icon, because that's something that I found myself lacking. Like I just had the whatchamacall, the URL, and I was kind of like doing that all on the fly. So maybe I'll actually make the card, like if you click the card, we'll copy it as opposed to, well, I think if you click the card, it should show the full image, and then maybe we'll just have a copy button, something like that. So let's do a little font awesome. There we go. Like this. depend on the wrapping. So what if we kind of overlay this here? And change this to white. Okay, almost like one of those Google material design buttons. Make this a little smaller. Or fabs, I think they're called. We can add our shadow here. It's almost too big. Something like that, just so we can grab it really nicely. And then I'll put the meta info down here. And you'd be surprised, you're like, why do you need the date or something like that on an image? And sometimes when you're uploading things, at least that I found, it's like, oh, when did I do that? Did I do that around my last post? And it can help you find what you're looking for. So I like to include maybe a little more meta info than your average person. And this can kind of just be our image library. Alrighty. And that works, I think, pretty well for what I need to do. Okay, cool. I think this contact list, oh, I guess we could do like the individual pages themselves. I'm probably just going to use a plugin or something like that for like the markdown editing on this. So not a huge, I don't really think I need to design it that much. So I'll come back to that if needed. And oh, I guess we forgot about this section over here. Well, maybe we'll figure out something else to put there as we go about creating this. But more or less, I think this is what our dashboard is going to look like. I think we've got all the information in here. And this, I'm going to spend less time designing because it's really just for me. I'm the user, and so whatever I say goes. But for this part of it, I think it does need to be a little bit more considered. Okay, so I feel pretty good. Obviously, we've got some content that needs to come in here and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm feeling pretty good about where our designs are. So now, let's see, how long have we done this for? Almost an hour, over an hour. Let's start talking about the code and how we're going to execute this. So I'm going to do this in, like I said before, Laravel Nova. And if you're not familiar with Laravel, it is a awesome little PHP framework. Not little, but it's it might be the most popular PHP framework. But it's just awesome. I'm a big fan. Lots of great community support and everything. So this is what I'm going to use to set this up and build. And what else am I going to use? For my CSS, I'm going to use Tailwind CSS. I just think it's sort of the best CSS framework out there right now. I used Bootstrap for a long time, and I just found like my site ended up looking like every other Bootstrap website. I think that's sort of the big gripe with Bootstrap overall. I want my site to look like my site, so that's kind of the motivation there. What else is I going to say? Vue.js, we'll use some Vue.js, probably for that contact form at the bottom. That way we're just not refreshing the page on them. We'll actually do like an Ajax post, make it fancy, make it nice. What other technologies? Those are the three big ones. Probably use MySQL for the database. Keep it simple. I could use Postgres, but sometimes it's not the default in Laravel, and so it's a little bit more work to set up. I actually don't know if I even have Postgres installed on this machine. I know I have MySQL. So that is what I will be building this in. And so we've done all of our design work, we did all of our discovery work, all of our portfolio stuff, and now we're going to move this over to our done list here. So let's start talking a little bit more about how we're going to code this out. Okay, thinking about what the lost my ears in here. How we're going to approach this is important. So we're going to do some project setup. I think that's pretty universal. I like working from like the schema to the front. Oh, I was also going to TDD this. That's just something else to add into here. So we're going to probably do some schema setup. Or I would say initialize models. So I need to think about what our schema is going to look like as well. Maybe I'll add that as a step. Let's do outline. And then I'm going to have to, I guess that's a project setup. Let me go into project setup and do like a little to-do list. So first is new Laravel project. Then I'll do my git init. What else do I want to do here? Database setup. I will probably need to set up. Oh, what's next? Oh, tests. So testing setup. Oh, the other nice thing about using MySQL is that for our tests, we can just use a SQLite database. That's always super, super helpful. So I will do that. So we've got our testing set up. What else do I want to add? We'll add Tailwind CSS. I'm thinking we can knock out a lot of this today and then be set up and ready to go for next week. What else do we want to set up here? I've read an article about this in the past. Let's look at that. Log. Where is it? Build, configure. This is a little out of date, but create SQL EMB testing auth. That was the one I was thinking of. Git. Yeah, we'll do all. Some of these are. This is more granular than what I was thinking. Where'd it go? Database setup, testing setup, authentication setup. Authentication is probably one of my favorite parts of Laravel, just because it's so easy to get up and running. Okay, I think this is kind of a good checklist, and we might run into other stuff. So outline the schema, initialize the models. Once we have the models, I might TDD the API first, just so that way we have it. I don't know. There's advantages to starting with the front end and working that way, and then working from the back end and work to the front end. For this, I think maybe just working from the back end first will be a little easier. I don't know why, but it's just feeling that way. Sometimes I like start one way and then switch the other way. I don't know. Then we'll kind of work on our. I might do the admin first. I don't know why. It feels right for this project. And then we'll just do the site front end. The site front end is just kind of like a view layer, so it's pretty easy. Just to get the data out there, and then we're just kind of doing some CSS work. For the admin front end, there is going to be like more forms and stuff like that, and that we might change this, but it just feels like for right now, that's where we want to start. Alrighty, so let's kind of look at how we're going to start getting all this set up here. So new Laravel project. So let me open up. I can close this. Let me open up. I can close this too. Save ourselves a little bit of rain. Alrighty here. So CD desktop, and code. To create a new Laravel project, all you need is the Laravel installer, and we'll just call this portfolio. I don't want to say two. A new portfolio. No, that's not going to work. Next portfolio. There we go. So this is going to be installing here. I'm going to probably not make this repository public, just because y'all can see the work I'm doing here. You can see it on the stream. That's all good. The other thing is, when I've made work like this public in the past, it's very easy for somebody just to steal it. Not that they couldn't do that now, but that's just something I'm kind of sensitive to, because I've seen it happen in the past. So that's just probably my mindset for that. So we're just going to run composer install, which is composer, if you're not familiar with it, is like npm for PHP. So kind of run all those. We'll also run npm install. I'm going to use npm for this. Yarn's also provided by default. Up to you, whatever you want to use. I like npm still, kind of old school. I've used Yarn, used it a lot. I kind of was on the bandwagon there, and then I ran into more problems than I thought I would, so I went back to npm. Alrighty. And let me just say what's going on here. Oh, get init first. There we go. Because I feel like there's that editor config. There are things that I don't want. I'm going to open it up with, I'm going to use PHP Storm. That's my IDE for this. I could use VS Code. You see I have it here, but this is PHP, so PHP Storm is the way to go. But if this was just like a VUSBA, which I sometimes will code, I definitely would have gone that route. But for me, this is going to work. What do we got? Desktop, code, make portfolio. Nice. And we close that out. This is going to take forever to, not forever, but it's going to index all the files. I got to update it. And what I was worried about is that when you open something with this, it might add this, this .id a. I just want to change our. No, I don't want to add that. To add that to our get ignore here. And let me see if that's going to get rid of it. Yeah, that did, as you would have hoped. Is editor config? I don't know if we need this in here or not. I'll add this to our get ignore. These little get things kind of good to get set up before you do that first commit. Alrighty, what else is going on here? I don't think we have to run the key generate anymore. That's kind of nice. And it looks like we're done indexing. Okay, so go ahead and add all these files. Do one more scan here to make sure we're good. All right. Cool. So that's all that taken care of. All right, what's next on our to-do list here? Get in it? Done. Database setup. So we need to make a new database here. Ooh, it has been a second since I've done that. So in Laravel, you have your env, right? And here you would set up your connection to your local database or your server database. So this the env is not in your version control system. It's a separate file you have to recreate. You have the example where you can keep maybe some less important env data, but for the most part, you want your env to have all these kind of secrets that you wouldn't want to push anywhere else. And right now, none of this matters. I will change this though, so we call this next portfolio.test. I have Laravel Valet installed, so that's how I'm going to run this for myself in the browser, which is pretty nice. So we looked in the browser right now, and I go to HTTP. Oh, come here. Nick's portfolio. Oh, thank you for the follow there. Appreciate it. And we go to .test. It's going to be here. So I don't need to start a server. I just kind of have one running in the background, a little web server called Laravel Valet. So if you go to the docs, go to documentation, these are getting started. Yeah, Valet is right here. You can figure out what it is if you're not familiar with it. I could throw this in our chat for anybody who wants to see it. But that's what's going on there. And then what you need to do to get set up. And all the good things that you're going to need. But for the most part, it's super nice because now I don't have to worry about that side of the equation. I was going to look at that. Because I just want to double check, make sure I have the correct MySQL. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So I'll create a database for this project. I have like a demo database, but I think for this we'll have it be its own database. So portfolio. Alrighty. Yes. That's all we have to do there. And then we can go ahead and update the ENV. So this is nice. So I did this so many times and I was just so frustrated that I forgot how to do it every time that I just wrote a blog post about it. And now every time I'm doing this, I tend to look at it. It's just root and then no password there. Alrighty. So now we have our database configured. Pretty simple. So check. Testing setup. I'm actually going to move this higher. Yeah, let's go there. So out of the box, Laravel has this PHP Artisan, which is its command line tool, and you can use this to like scaffold things, run certain features, seed your database. A lot of database interaction happens here. And one of them, where is it? Make auth is really nice because it will scaffold login and registration and stuff like that for you out of the box. So that is something. And I have this alias to PHP artist or PA. That's just all I'm going to do here. I think I'm going to say alias PA. Yeah. PHP artisan. So I just use PA all the time. And so PA make auth. Boom. Just like that. Give this a little refresh. We've got a nice login. We've got a register view. It's all bootstrapped, which we will rip out and have to restyle ourselves, but it's really nice. I don't have to worry about scaffolding or writing that logic. It just happens for me, which is pretty cool. Alrighty. So we did that. Go ahead and check that off. Our authentication. That's it. That's literally all we have to do for our authentication. I should migrate the database, so that way, yeah, that way I know everything's working. Cool. Testing setup. So this is going to be our next piece of the puzzle here. So here we have this PHP unit.xml. This is where you can define everything, define your database connection. Basically override stuff in your env that you want to be specific to your testing situation. And so for me, I did this a few days ago. Let me see if I can find that project. I think it was this, like, the Laravel demo. New window. And for Lambda School, I was just giving a little run through for everybody. I think that was live stream too. Okay, so I just want this DB connection. And this has actually changed in 5.8 and 5.7. It was slightly different. So if you're kind of following that, keep that in mind. If you're on the latest version, this has changed a little bit. I think it was like app or something before. Oh, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Cool. And that should be our setup, our test setup. So let me. I think I have an alias test. Thank you for the follow. I've got an alias to PU, which is kind of funny, which is just the vendor PHP unit. So I'm going to just run that real fast. Looks like tests are working. That's a default test out of the box. I should have ran that before I did this actually, but I also should have done some commits along the way. But here we are. I will commit now. So git add, git commit am, scaffolding auth, and set up tests. Cool. Oh, that's just out of habit. I don't have a repo set up. So, and finally, we're going to add table CSS here and kind of get that set up. And also purge CSS, really everything that kind of goes along with that. So if you're familiar with table CSS, it's awesome. If you know it's awesome, if you're not familiar, you just kind of, welcome. This is Tailwind. If you're not familiar with how it works, every class has its own CSS attribute. I'm not going to argue with you whether that's good or bad. I think it's awesome. If you have a problem with it, don't use it. That's all I'm going to tell you. But that's what I'm going to use because I like it. And the beta is here, so I'm going to make sure I have the latest version of it installed. And also watch this documentation here. I forget where they had it. For installation, there it is. The pre-released, we're going to have to go through this route. Install next. And while that's going, so basically this step is getting taken care of. We're going to have to grab, using post CSS import. I don't think I am. So, okay. Grab these guys. Back to PHP Storm. Go to our Sass. App Sass. Get rid of all this because I don't want Bootstrap. This is SCSS right now. I'm going to change this to Sass because that's what I used for a long time and that's what I like. And we'll get rid of this. I don't believe in save deletes, just delete on the fly. What can happen? That's why we use Git. That's probably controversial. Did this not get? Oh no, hang on. Weird. Also, why is this? I'm in the wrong project. That's what's going on. That's fine. It's like, why is this not changing? There we go. Alrighty, go back to her. Oh, that's the public directory. Like, I don't remember opening that. Okay, here. So where? Oh, that's right in front of me. Use sources, Sass. Go ahead and just reduplicate some of that. Come here. There we go. Save delete this guy. Don't do that. And we'll just rename this to Sass. Alrighty, great. Then in our webpack.mix, we're going to have to change a few things. Notably this. First, we're going to edit that. And let's go back to our directions here. You can do it straight from the CLI. Also, if you want to go down here, we've got Laravel Mix. Maybe I do need to use this. Using a preprocessor, which we are. Alright, this is what I need. So I'm going to bring this guy in here. This const. And then for Sass, go ahead and update our options here. I'm going to have to initialize the Tailwind configuration. Oh, what is that? They changed it. No, that's not it. Oh, they put it in a different part of the the page here. That's it. Cool. And that just generated a file in the root of our project. So this tailwind config.js. So that will just be here. Alrighty, let's see if this works. Gotta set that alias up. I ran npm install, so that shouldn't be a huge issue. Everybody's favorite part, just waiting for this stuff to compile. Alright, that worked. So that's a pretty big file, but we'll add purge CSS here in a minute. Alright, so these pages will all be not working anymore. Oh, that's not what I wanted. BizBug, you're great, but you're not what I need right now. So yeah, so we maybe change this to text red. 900. Yeah, alright, cool. And that's just a tailwind class. That's how the color system works. And we see that's a nice red color. Maybe if we made it 500, it'd be a little bit more obvious. There we go. They changed their red, it looks like. All of it. Oh, it would be helpful if you guys could see this. So what I did was I changed the class here, and that's what how I proved it. So looks like we're in good shape here. Nice. So we can check off. Oh, we're not done quite yet. So what I want to do is update. There's a Spady package. Spady, if you're not familiar with them, they write all of the really great packages for CSS. I mean for Laravel. They're super awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure we've added this as well. And purge CSS is great because if you run, so notice how big these the CSS file is. What purge CSS does is it looks through your HTML and your view files and basically everything that's getting rendered, and it says, okay, based on those, what classes are you using? And if you're not using a class, then it cuts it out of your CSS file and it condenses the CSS file for you and makes it just the CSS that you're using, which is super awesome. It's definitely something that I encourage everyone using. I think the Tailwind community does too. Anyone using Tailwind should definitely be considering to use this as well, because Tailwind, while great, does spit out a lot of classes, especially if you're not using them. So it might as well have purge CSS there. So let's run this npm run production again. Let's see the difference. So before it was this huge 347 kilobytes. I don't know why this keeps happening. Might have to just run that manually. Yeah, so look at that. Now we're down to 2.58 kilobytes, which is awesome. But the disadvantage of that is I don't have any Tailwind on my site yet. So, for instance, if we come over here and I say oh, what's something that's going to be useful? That long ago, yeah. So we try and do what we did before. It's not going to work because it's been purged from our CSS file. So that's a little annoying, but if you run run watch or something like that, it gets taken care of. You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to try installing this. I don't know why it's not being installed or something. Huh. I didn't realize that was deprecated. Let's see if that gets rid of that for us. I wish there was a purge CSS for JavaScript, but oh, actually, we can do stuff with our vendor files. All right, let me see if this works. Not gonna give us any more issues. Okay, so now we're cooking with gas. So a couple other things that I want to configure here. I think I talked about this. Did I talk about it here? No. It's browser sync. So let's not go here, but this is all Laravel Mix stuff. So Laravel Mix is sort of the build system for the JavaScript build system for Laravel. Sorry, going a little crazy here. So this is something really important that we should be considering. So yes, this is what I want to do here. Add this extract method. This helps us for cache busting and stuff like that, and a little bit with optimization, speed optimization stuff. That's kind of odd. Cool. So that's going to extract view, and there's a way to, so version, again, super important. Oh yeah, we do want to only do this if we're in production. That way, that will take care of us there. Cool. We do want to do browser sync as well. Really nice. And this will just be Mix portfolio. Browser sync is where, like, if you do some work in your code and then you save it, it hot updates on and hot reloads your page in your browser. So we definitely want to have that. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff here, but let's make sure we do each of these one at a time. Let's see. Make sure I've got everything figured out here. Okay. So grab these scripts here. We'll go to our layouts folder and make sure they're taken care of. And I believe we can do this mix business that they were describing down here. That'll take care of a lot of this for us. Oop. Got a little bug flying around here. Oh, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. We're kind of cooking with gas now. We did a lot of design work over the last few weeks, and now we get to do a lot of fun development work, which is super awesome. Yeah, you can get rid of this, though I'll add that defer in there. There we go. I don't know if we want to do that with the other ones or not as well, but alright, I think this will work for us now. I need to set that alias up. I thought, oh, I was going to install the browser sync. That makes sense. Alright. And I think Mix does a really nice job of, like, taking care of some of that stuff for you. Like it knew that there was a dependency, and then boom, you have it, which is super nice sometimes. Cool. And so we kind of reduced, we took view, we extracted view out of our, with this extract method here, out of our app.js file, and now it's kind of just living in our vendor.js file, and that just kind of helps you, like, that file is going to change far less often than your, I should be that right, than your JS file, like your app.js file. That could change a lot more frequently, so it's just kind of a nice way to prevent your browser from, like, recaching that or something like that. So yeah, all these little nice things that takes care of for you. So I don't think anything's broken here. Alrighty. Cool. So let me see here how we're doing on our project setup. We're doing pretty good. Let me just run watch just to make sure that's going to work for us. Nice. Cool. And that's looking like it's proxied well for us. So if we go into our home page here, I guess we gotta go to the different page. That has a different blade template. Where is this guy? Make sure everything's working. Yeah, this is nice. Save 500, save that. Nice. And 200. See how that updated in real time for us? Or let's say we wanted to go to blue. That's the beauty of browser sync. And so Laravel supports that through Mix, which is pretty awesome. I'm a big fan. Alright, so we get rid of that. Kind of cancel that and run prod again. Just minify everything. Notice how we ran watch and that was large again, our CSS file. It's because we're not using purge CSS anymore. Like notice how it's small now. So that is what's going on there. So what did we do here? I think we did a lot. We set up tailwind, and then I have a bad habit of running ahead of myself. I think everyone does that a little bit with their commits. So we're just going to add all that. That's not what I wanted to run. Let's add all of that and then git commit. I know I'm adding twice, but that's just a habit I get into. When you're creating a lot of files in the beginning, you find yourself, I feel like, running git add all, and then later it's not as big of an issue. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and call this tailwind setup and mix setup. Again, try to push that. Don't have that set up though. I'll set that up before next time. So that way we're in good shape. Okay, so what else do we have to do? I think that's all of our setup work. So now in terms of our schema outline, basically we can kind of just look at our work over here and kind of get a sense for what we're going to need. So I said, and actually we don't even have to look at this, we just have to look at our back end. We kind of did some thinking, but let's look at both. I think it's important to feel both. So projects, we're not going to hard code because that is, I'm sorry, we are going to hard code, so we don't need it in our CMS. All this is going to be hard coded. This might be dynamic, but again, that comes from blog posts. I think this is going to be, oh, this is interesting. I forgot about media. I don't know if I want to hard code that or not. Maybe we want to add some media. So that could be something to consider. Definitely want to make sure we have that in there. Well, maybe we'll say media. Oh, this is where symbols are really valuable, and I did not make symbols. That's okay. It's gonna be a quick fix. You know, this is why we not only design the back end, but we also think about the schema, all this stuff, and we use the front end as to define that for us. Like if I had just stayed here, I would have forgotten all about the media. And who can forget about the media these days? Cool. So we've got mockups. We've got this Twitch that's gonna be hard coded. All this content's gonna be hard coded. Contact me. These submissions will be pinging our database live, so that's important as well. I might do something like a Slack channel integration here, just so I can be notified a little bit faster, or I might do an email integration. Maybe email. That would be kind of fun. I don't want to get spammed a bunch though, because these things get spammed a bunch. We'll do some spam filtering. We'll probably do a honeypot field and maybe a few other things. That will be hard coded. These latest tweets will be dynamic, but we don't have to worry about uploading them. We'll just do an API call. Hard coded. All this is dynamic. We've got tags in here. That's important to consider, but we've considered that in our schema. Feeling pretty good about a lot of this. Gonna have to do some markdown stuff, which will be fun. That's gonna be hard coded. Great. Okay. So in terms of a schema, what we're gonna need are blog posts. We're gonna have users because we do have some sort of authentication. We'll call this posts. We'll have contact submissions. I don't know. You can just say, well, contacts is not what I want to say. We'll say submissions. That might change. Media. And then user profile details will be under that. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead over to our, there we go. And I'll go over to our database file, migrations, factories. Maybe we'll go ahead and scaffold a bunch of this stuff, and then next time we can start really working on it. Sometimes you can have this like to-do functionality, which is really nice. So I leave little notes for myself. I guess we could do a scratch file. PHP. Alright. So like you write to do, or how does it work? Things like that. Maybe it needs to be. Oh, maybe it doesn't recognize scratch files. So we go over here. There we go. And now it'll be like, oh, you have a to-do over here for yourself, which is really nice because it's like super contextualized. And it's like, boom, there you go. So that's something I frequently use. So what do we have to do? Actually, I don't know why I'm doing this there. We should be doing this here. Okay, users, post submissions, media. Those are kind of our tables. Data on those tables, we're going to have to think about it a little bit more. So maybe we've got first name. Or that last name. Got some sort of role. Email. Social accounts. Something to consider. Because, where'd it go? On our, this page might have Twitter account, so Twitter account I think is all we need. This is a little overkill for a users table because I'm the only user, but at the same time, we're going to, maybe in the future, maybe one day we could do guest posts, which I think would be super dope. So, I don't know. Maybe setting ourselves up for some success in the future is going to be useful. Alright, we got posts. So a blog post has, tags. Totally forgot about tags. That will be its own, it would be a many and many. So we've got a title, we've got an author or a user, essentially. Published on. Yeah, so let's start there. So we got a title. We're going to have some sort of header image. We're going to need the user or author. I might use that terminology. Published on. Something like that. Obviously the content, so like let's call it content for now. I think that's more or less everything. Everything else should be relational. Tags, they'll have a name. They will have a, I guess they won't, since it's many, they won't necessarily have a post ID, but they'll have some sort of name as well. Submissions. So let's go down to our footer. They have a message, and then they have the email. And the email. Media. Where'd that go? There we go. So that's going to also have a header image. We're going to have some sort of title, description. that's something else we're going to need for our blog posts. Oh, slugs. We're going to need some sort of slug. Something to think about. I think tags will also need a slug. Slug, instead of using like the ID in the URL, we'll have like a nice name. Something to consider. Users, I don't think they need slugs. Maybe. But submissions don't need a slug. We'll just use the ID. Media. We need a link. Because I want it to go to that content. I don't want it to live on my site. Okay. That should be good. Okay. This looks like a pretty good table. Obviously, this will change. I'm sure we'll think of something. A post, I think. Active. Inactive. Something. Sometimes you like have a post and you publish it and you're like, there's something wrong with it, so I'm just going to take it down. I've run into that in the past, so it's nice to just be able to hit that boolean and not like change like the publish at timestamp or anything like that, but just kill it from the site, but not get rid of it. You can do soft deletes too, but I think there's just something nice about active inactive, just being able to toggle that. And maybe we'll do the same thing for our tags as well. That would be something worth putting, I think, in our backend, kind of displaying what's active versus inactive. That could be another column we consider. But alrighty, so we've got our schema more or less. So I'm going to save this. And this kind of uses Markdown, so if you do that, you get a nice little list. Right on. So I'm trying to think here. I think we're pretty good in terms of schema outline. So next time, that's our 2 hours. So normally we just do 2 hours. Next time we're going to really dive in. We'll start initializing these models. I'm going to build a something else that I just reminded of. Add user command. We'll probably put that there. I'm not going to do user management. That's a lot. But I will focus on making sure we have a command at least so I can add people if I need to, and get rid of sort of the rest of our registration pages. I guess that's another thing that I should make a note about. So dev, and we'll say register URLs. And style off pages. I might do that first. Maybe that first next time. Takes a little while. It's kind of annoying to do every time, but it gets the job done. So that's something to consider. Cool. So like I was saying, next time we will start doing all that stuff. Now we're ready. We've kind of done all of our design work. I've got to do some illustration work. If you're interested in seeing that, let me know. I might stream it. I might just do it on my own. Sometimes that's nice to do by yourself. So I'm going to work on a lot of those illustrations. Thank you all for watching this week. It's always super fun to have an audience, and y'all are awesome. So I appreciate it. We will see you on Wednesday. We'll do some more portfolio reviews. So if you have a portfolio, you want feedback, happy to give that. So let me know. And next Saturday, hopefully we'll be able to do some more, another 2 hours of streaming, start working on the code side of this. So have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks again for stopping in, and we'll see you on Wednesday.